YouTube family, what's good, what's good? Hey, let's get right into it. Before you do anything else, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this with your friends, all right? Because this is going to be some really good stuff right here. Okay, so I'm going to be shooting from the hip again. I'm on the road, headed home, but shooting from the hip over here. So you're going to hear a lot of the uhs, and all that craziness, right? And peppered with a little bit of cussing here and there. I'm trying to minimize it, though. It's a new year. We're doing our best over here. Either how, family, what I'm doing over here is today I'm making a presentation on why it's important to know that this earth is not what you think it is, right? Or what not the BS that you've been fed of this world being what it is, what they claim that it is, right? And that's a ball. So in this here video is going to be NASA's evidence, right? The same people that lied to us are low-key declassifying information, giving us the declassified information that you haven't been told, right? And telling you the truth as to the composition of this world, the way this world looks. And it's not a freaking ball shape. It's not shaped like a basketball. Why is this important? Well, okay, let me give you an example. Have you ever grown up knowing an alcoholic? Or have you yourself been an alcoholic and you just managed to get off the poison and live and survive to tell the tale? Well, you may know if that was you, or you may know from firsthand experience, right, how it works. You drink alcohol, you drink it for such a long time and in such excess that it begins to pickle your body, pickle and poison your body to a degree where your body now becomes dependent on the shit. You get the shakes if you don't get it, you get headaches, you get sweats, and then ultimately you can die. You can break out into a seizure if your dependency on alcohol is that severe. You know what I'm saying? If it's that extreme, it can kill you, right? So this is I'm saying all that because what I'm trying to mention and get at is that this is the way NASA has done everybody, right? So with the globe Earth, all you've known is the Earth being a ball. So you see NASA doing things with Disney, doing things with Wernher von Braun, and the mission to Mars, Star Wars, Star Trek, Starship Troopers, Empire Strikes Back, Transformer, man, everything, every way you turn, every way you look, Hollywood's well paid, and these cartoons are well made to where every way you look, everything you see is space. Everybody knows the Earth is 93 million miles away from the sun. Everybody knows that, Earth is the third planet from the sun. Before that, you've got Mercury and Venus, and then you've got after the Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, right? I think I said Jupiter and Saturn, that's right. Anyway, so you have all those planets. Everybody knows the 8 planets because I guess Pluto lost its place, right? Everybody knows those things. Everybody knows that the moon is 39,000 miles away from the Earth, right? Everybody knows that the seasonal changes because of the Earth's proximity to the sun. And then what if somebody came around to you and turned your world upside down and told you, no, everything you've been taught was a lie. Everything you've been told was a lie. And how would you feel? How would you feel finally realizing or having to come to terms with the world is not a ball? Then what the hell is it? Where are we? What are we on? Right? It messes with everything, right? Everything that you thought you knew about this world, you don't know, right? And so now, after removing something, you need to replace it with, after removing one thing, you need to replace it with a something, right? So that something is the truth. That something is the flat earth. That something is God's earth. And that you're not a mistake. We're not mistakes. And because this is God's earth, it comes not only with the creator, but with the creator, it comes its subjects, us. Us as the subjects, it also means it has rules and consequences when the rules aren't followed. This is why it's so distasteful to recognize the earth is being flat, right? It's a scary fucking feeling to know that you're really being watched. There is no human beings coming from a bowl of soup turning into fish and then mice and squirrels and then a bunch of monkeys that one of them is missing, but we still have monkeys. And then ultimately we become a bunch of hairless people, right? Anyway, but let me get off my soapbox and let this man describe to you why NASA has turned around and divulged such information. Oh, plus what you want to recognize is NASA, what these government agencies will do is they'll classify everything, right? After they done classifying the shit, they're gonna turn around and then they're gonna be like, okay, you guys want the information because of the FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and declassify it. After they finish declassifying the shit, you know what they don't do? They don't turn around and tell you, by the way, it's declassified. They just declassify it. And then they put it in a big old pot of shit that you can't decipher because, first of all, they took away from people their penchant for being curious, right? So people ain't curious no more. Not too many people are sleuths. I give all graces to God for these people introducing me to the Earth's composition, for showing me the light, right? And for these guys being super sleuths, and me myself turning me into a super sleuth and reading everything, going through everything to expose this truth to everyone that I come across. And it's not fun, it's not simple. And the thing is with the classification, going back to that, is that these classifications, when they show them, they're like, oh, yeah, it's unclassified. Now, what you gotta know about these regular classifications is that when something is classified, you just have a need to know, right? If you don't have that need to know, even it doesn't matter what your clearance level is. If you're not read into that compartmented, which is where they get the term compartmentalization, right? If you're not supposed to know that there is a closet, you will not know that that closet exists. And if you don't know that that closet exists, you won't know what the contents of the closet is. Doesn't matter if you're in the same house, you can't know that the closet exists, and you can't know what the contents of that closet are. So when they declassify everything, everybody knows now. It's information given to everyone. But you won't know because they won't announce it. They won't say, hey, by the way, go to, nasa.gov and look at all this declassified stuff that we put out from the CIA, FBI, NSA, DIA, all that, right? The Army, all these entities. They'll never do that. So you have to do your due diligence. You need to look. I'm saying all that because right here in this video, this man is going to give you some earth-shattering information. And I'm also going to leave this earth-shattering information video that's sped up a little bit for your consumption in the Dropbox. I'm going to leave it in the Dropbox for you guys to watch for yourselves. It's not hocus pocus, y'all. It's straightforward, right? NASA's given us the information. It's up to us to find it and figure it out. In the meantime, you're going to have these people believing and relying on a globe Earth that doesn't exist. We can prove a flat Earth all day. However, you cannot prove a lie. You cannot prove a globe Earth. Let's roll this video. Check it out.
Earth assumption for atmospheric calculations. Validity. You know what validity means? Something that is a solid fact. Well, let me back up. Remember, present equations hold for any altitude. So some of this study of basic atmospheric equations, this is for any altitude. This is the introduction. This is the table of contents. Introduction, the validity of flat Earth assumption for atmospheric calculation. If it wasn't flat, if the Earth was not flat, why would you start off a classify under threat of law in the Espionage Act? Why would you classify that? It's all here, folks. Introduction here says a comprehensive.
God damn it, man. All right, y'all, where were we, man, before I was interrupted? Let me go back a couple of seconds.
So we just saw one document say, this is the correct underlying physics, flat non-rotating Earth. We see this document right here say, this is correct for any altitude. I tell you, I've been studying and I'm blown away, just going back through it. That's the validity of flat Earth assumption. Validity. They're not saying, okay, see, this is what someone said, that the flat Earth assumption is just a simplified one. But what this is saying is this so-called flat Earth assumption is valid. It's valid. Do you see it? Zoom in on it a little bit, just so you see it. Validity of flat Earth assumption. Just so you know, the definition of validity. The quality of being logically or factually sound. Okay? Look at that. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's a good point. There. That's the second part of the definition, the state of being legally or officially binding or acceptable. That's what stand up in court. Let's keep going here. Assumption. And anyway, let's just say that they didn't put in the validity. They just used the word flat earth assumption. You hear that a lot. Well, the assumption, a thing that is accepted as true, or is certain to happen without proof. No, we don't need proof of this anymore. This is what is assumed to be true by the scientific community, by the governments of the world. Everybody see this? Let me ask you something. Are you blown away? I mean, it's been a while since I've even read a scripture. You know why? Because these guys have their own flat earth Bible, don't they? It's called their technical numbers. It's mine. There's more of it here. Calculation of light dispersion, higher orders. This is USR, geophysics, light dispersion. This is a study they were doing. Proof presented light dispersion, higher orders can be computed from data obtained in plain direct observation for USSR references. And this is the institution, the Academy of Sciences, USSR Astrophysical Institute. I mean, again, we're not fooling around here with dummies, right? And this paper, they go on, and then again, they're going to tell you to study the dispersion of light in the Earth's atmosphere, degree, doctoral, physics, math, science, and so they just tell you the whole thing here. Joint Council, March 1957, Academy of Science, USSR. Again, a lot of this I just pulled out just so you would see that these documents are real and what they were about. But let's get to the interesting stuff. Here's all these PhDs and scientists that are involved in this study at this time. Tells you a little more of the introduction, the table of contents. The investigation of light scattering in the Earth's atmosphere, formula for the brightness of the blue sky with consideration of first order scattering and all that, blah, blah, blah. All right. It talks about this first semester, 1957, dissertation, blah, blah, blah. Goes through that. Let's get to the interesting meat of this here. Tells you the instruments we use. So right here, so the observations were carried out in 12 locations at various altitudes above the sea, various climate, meteorological, synoptic conditions. The observations were carried out mainly during high transparency of the atmosphere, the visual range of the spectrum, the absence of snow cover. In the investigations, 2 instruments designed by V.G. Fescanoff or whatever were used. One of these was a visual photometer of the daytime sky intended for measuring the brightness of the firmament. Now, what's very interesting about that is Daniel chapter 12, verse 4 talks about the righteous shining as the brightness of the firmament. The Bible also talks, 12:3, I'm sorry. The Bible also talks about what? That there are 4 lights. It talks about the sun, the moon, the stars, and the light. That's in the world. We'll deal with that another time. But they were wanting to study this, and they said also the other photoelectric halo photometer for determining the brightness from near sun halo. Whoa. Pause. Time out. Time out. How is something that's supposed to be 93 million miles away, could anything about it be called near? The near sun. Okay? But it gets better. He says that to study the near sun halo and also the sun on the surface perpendicular to these rays, the dissertation contains a certain formula of the brightness of the sky, taking into consideration only the brightness of the first order, derived on the assumption of a flat Earth and giving some conclusions. Because remember, they're trying to study how light is operating within the atmosphere with a near sun halo, and they tell you over flat Earth.
All right, now I think that should be enough. I'm going to have this video in the description box. Now, when you see that word flat right there in quotes, right, what that should do is it should trigger, well, what do they mean by flat? To me, what they mean by flat in that regards is, yes, it is flat. It goes nothing but across. But you do have things like peaks, valleys, mountains, hills, molehills, stuff like that, right? So, of course, it'll have bumps and bruises on it, but the overall consensus is that it is flat. It is horizon completely across. Anyway, YouTube family, that's all I got for y'all. Be sure to like, share, subscribe. I wish you nothing but the best. Health, wealth, prosperity, longevity, love, but most of all, wisdom. Wisdom, top wisdom, bottom wisdom, all that. I want you to have wisdom. Be able to start to discern the bullshit, because it's nothing but bullshit these guys are giving you. Peace.